Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. I'm recording this on July 11th, 2012, and we're picking up where we left off in the last episode, which was getting continuous integration set up. And as I said at the end of the last episode, continuous integration is pretty widely misunderstood. It's not a tool. A continuous integration server is not required. It can be helpful, but most continuous integration tools get a fundamental aspect of continuous integration wrong, and that really bugs me because it's fundamental, in my opinion, to continuous integration. Continuous integration is about two things. It's about having everybody's work integrated, and it's also about knowing unequivocally that that work is good and ready to deploy from a technical perspective, if not from a market perspective. And what most of the integration tools get wrong is that they have you check in your code and then test it to see if it works. And while that test is running, other people can check out that code and have a broken build. The way continuous integration is supposed to work is that whenever you check out the integrated code, whenever you get the integrated code, it's known good. And when that's true, it changes behavior dramatically, because what it means is that you know that anything that doesn't work on your machine is your fault. That means you don't have to blame somebody else or wait for somebody else to fix it. You're in control of your own destiny. Like I said, continuous integration tools can be helpful. Most of them get that fundamental feature wrong. So I prefer manual continuous integration. It turns out that the continuous integration tools are really just build runners. And it's not that hard to run a build. I'll do it right now. Done. Now, that's not worth a whole lot of complicated servers. Okay, so I'm exaggerating a little bit. The other thing a continuous integration server does for you is it runs your build on a different machine. And that's super valuable because we need to be sure that we've checked everything in, that we don't have any environmental issues, and so forth. So what I have here is a Windows box. This is a virtual machine, and this is going to be our integration machine. Whenever we integrate, we're going to run the build here first, before we say it's known good, to confirm that we've got everything working. Now, the reason I'm using a Windows box is just to make my life more difficult, and also because there's some viewers out there using Windows, not Macs, and I want them to be able to build the software too. So this is a pristine Windows box. I'm using Windows XP because I've got lots of licenses for Windows XP, and it's really lightweight on modern hardware, so hopefully it will work. I don't have anything running here. I don't have Git set up yet. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, install Git, and then we'll come back. Okay, I'm back. So I've just finished installing Git off of the Git website. It's just right here. Just did the default Windows install. Now that I've got Git running, you can see it that it's working. I need to find a place for the integration systems repository, which, let's see, I guess I'll just make, I typically have a projects dir at the top level. And the reason I put it there is because a lot of software doesn't like having the spaces in the path. Let's, so we need to put it here. And I think the way to do that is to clone it. I'll need to give access to my Mac. Normally you would, use SSH or something like that, but because I'm running this in a VM, I'm just going to clone based on a path, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get this working and be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I shared the directory. VMware puts that on the Z drive. So here we are. Now what I want to do is I want to clone the repository, I think. So we're going to clone z:\wikpaint to here. Did that work? Oh, it does look like it worked. Okay. But actually we needed to put that in a wikpaint folder. So let's move wikpaint to projects, and there we go. I mean, this is putting it in a projects folder is actually kind of silly because this is just the WeWiki Paint integration server, but old habits die hard. Now that we've got this working, we can do a git status. Great. All right. Do we have git k running? Oh, we do. Great. So we can see everything's here. Okay. That's good. And can we run Jake? Well, no, of course not. Oh, well, that's interesting. It looks like it automatically associates our shell files. Interesting. Well, it almost works. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our code here, and let's just put in our README. What do we need to do? Okay, so to build on Windows, we need to install Git. We need to clone the repository. And what else? There's something else that we need to do that I haven't quite figured out yet. So, but let's make a note of that. Okay, so, all right. Now, back at the ranch, can we pull this? Okay, that's cool. Now, yeah, now we've got the ability to pull the repository from my development machine onto this integration machine. And I think in a regular environment, what we would do is we'd push to the integration machine. But because I've got my development box pushing to GitHub, I don't think I want to set that up. Although again, I'm not a Git expert, so if you're seeing this and you have some ideas about how it would work better, please add those ideas in the comments. I think that could be really useful. But now we've got the ability to pull. What we don't have the ability to do yet is build. We're seeing a failure. Oh, well, of course we're seeing a failure. We don't have Node installed. Duh. Let's do that next. So I'm going to go do that. I'll be back in a moment. All right, I'm back. So I've got Node installed. Look at that. Let's change the default here. When it comes to making your life easier as a developer, do it now. Yeah, so now when we open this window, it goes to the right place. That's good. And we've got Node working. So what happens if we run Jake? Still doesn't work. That's okay. I was actually surprised jake.sh worked. What I'm going to do is just make my own jake.batch file. Let's grab that and that. Haha! All right, we have a build. Now we need to get this back from back over to our development machine. Now, normally, what we don't want to do, you don't typically want to develop on the integration box. What you want to do is if you find an error, you go back to your development machine, you fix it, and you try again. In the spirit of doing that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to recreate this over here. And let's make sure it does everything it's supposed to. Now, I don't know that I got that right. And I could hypothetically set up another development machine on Windows, but that's a little clunky for my little one-man show here. So I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, so we've got that. We should be able to say git pull. Oh, right. Let's get reset. Where are we at? Looks like everything's okay here. And the advantage of having the integration box be just for running integrations and no development happening on it, in worst case scenario, I just blow away the box and start over, or blow away the Git repository and start over. So now I should be able to run Jake. So there we go. So this is working on Windows, and that's cool. So we need to install node.js, install Git, clone repository, and then once we've proven that it works on the integration box, we need to set it up with an integration branch, or we need to mark that it's successfully integrated. And the way I'm going to do that is with an integration branch. I'm going to normally, again, you would be pushing to the integration box and then doing the integration merge on that machine. But because I've got this weird thing with GitHub as well, and I don't want to have to go to the integration box just to push to GitHub, what I'm going to do instead is set up the branch here. So I'm going to say git branch integration. That's going to create the integration branch. And we can see that. Yeah, we can see that here. So there's our integration branch. And what I want to do is, I guess that's kind of all there is to it for now. In the future, as I do additional work and then mark it as integrated, I'll need to merge into that branch. But for now, I think that's pretty much it. And that's a good thing because we're out of time. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. That's it for this episode. I will see you next time.